The Monsters of Chernobyl. Unveiling the horror after the explosion. April 26, 1986. A day that forever altered the course of nuclear science and human history. The catastrophic explosion of reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant released an estimated 5.2 million curies of radioactive material into the atmosphere. Pripyat, once home to nearly 50,000 residents, was evacuated within 36 hours, leaving behind a city frozen in time. But what if the radiation did more than render the land uninhabitable? What if it birthed horrors beyond our darkest imaginings? Join us as we delve deep into the exclusion zone, uncovering the terrifying mutations that lurk in the shadows of Chernobyl. The aftermath unveiled. The silence that engulfed Pripyat was deafening, a stark contrast to the vibrant life that once pulsed through its streets. Within months, nature began to reclaim the city. Radiation levels soared, averaging 0.5 to 1.0 millisieverts per hour, drastically altering the local flora and fauna. Botanists observed hyperaccumulators, plants absorbing radionuclides at unprecedented rates, leading to grotesque mutations. In nearby villages, whispers spread of strange occurrences. Farmers reported livestock births with severe deformities, calves with extra limbs, piglets lacking eyes. At night, shadowy figures were seen moving unnaturally along the tree line. The sounds, discordant screams and low-frequency hums, defied known wildlife behaviors. First encounters. The lone survivor, Valery Morozov, a former plant engineer, defied the exclusion orders to retrieve personal belongings. Equipped with a dosimeter and protective gear, he ventured into Pripyat. In his apartment, he encountered a creature crouched in the corner, a humanoid form with elongated limbs and skin marred by lesions emitting a faint phosphorescent glow. Its eyes, devoid of irises, locked onto him. Paralyzed by fear, Valery watched as it vanished into the shadows. He later recounted the experience with chilling detail before succumbing to radiation poisoning. Documented sightings. Archived reports from 1986 to 1990 include sketches and testimonies from liquidators, workers involved in the cleanup. Common features emerge: entities with asymmetric physiologies, exoskeletal protrusions, and behaviors indicative of sentience. Photographs, though degraded by radiation exposure, show blurred figures exhibiting bioluminescence in the 500 to 510 nanometers wavelength range. Birth of the monsters. Radiation's wrath. Radiation disrupts DNA at the molecular level, causing single and double-strand breaks. While most mutations are lethal or result in cancer, extreme environments can accelerate evolutionary processes. In Chernobyl, radiation levels peaked at over 300 sieverts per hour near reactor number 4, conditions under which only extremophiles might survive, potentially triggering rapid speciation. Creature profiles. The stalkers. Standing approximately 2.5 meters tall, the stalkers possess hyper-elongated limbs and digitigrade legs. Muscular atrophy is offset by tendon elasticity, allowing for silent, swift movement. Their dermal layers contain melanin-rich cells, providing camouflage and protection against radiation. The howlers. Quadrupedal with distorted cranial structures, the howlers emit vocalizations between 18 Hz to 20 kHz, spanning infrasound to ultrasound. These frequencies can induce nausea, disorientation, and fear in humans, a potential evolutionary adaptation for hunting or defense. The shadows. Amorphous and seemingly intangible, the shadows may represent a collective of microorganisms exhibiting quorum sensing. Biofilms composed of Deinococcus radiodurans, radiation-resistant bacteria, could form macrostructures, appearing as shifting shadows. Tales from the exclusion zone. Survivor accounts. Illicit explorers, or stalkers, often share harrowing tales. Nikolai Petrov recounts a night in the Red Forest, the most contaminated area, with radiation levels up to 1,000 microsieverts per hour. He describes seeing luminescent figures and hearing whispers in unrecognizable languages. Biometric data from his equipment showed elevated heart rate and cortisol levels, indicative of extreme stress. Evidence collected. Artifacts such as anomalous tissue samples show unusual isotopic compositions, including traces of technetium-99 and plutonium-241. Footprints measuring over 50 centimeters suggest creatures of significant mass. Claw marks with strontium deposits were found etched into reinforced structures, implying the ability to absorb and incorporate radioactive elements into biological systems. Government secrets and cover-ups. Restricted access. Since the dissolution of the USSR, access to certain areas within the exclusion zone has been heavily restricted. Satellite imagery reveals unexplained construction, facilities without official records. Electromagnetic anomalies have been detected, suggesting advanced research or containment measures involving electromagnetic pulses. In 1996, documents surfaced from former KGB archives referencing Operation Mrtvy Chumen, Dead Fog. These files detailed encounters between military units and unidentified biological entities. Reports included the loss of entire squads and the deployment of chemical agents like chlorine trifluoride, substances typically reserved for extreme measures. The scientists' perspective. Research teams, ecologists and geneticists have long studied the zone's unique environment. Dr. Anya Petrova led a team examining mutation rates in rodents, finding transposable element activations at frequencies 150% higher than normal. Several research teams disappeared, leaving behind cryptic notes. The trees are listening, and light avoids the deepest shadows. The mutation theory. Sequencing of DNA from mutated specimens shows extensive genomic rearrangements. Telomerase activity in these organisms is abnormally high, suggesting potential immortality at the cellular level. Epigenetic modifications indicate environmental factors accelerating evolution, perhaps even guiding it, a concept known as adaptive mutation. Deep into the darkness. Exploration footage. Recovered footage exhibits phenomena such as sudden drops in ambient temperature and electronic interference, cameras malfunctioning despite EMP shielding. Audio spectrograms reveal unexplained harmonic patterns. One clip shows a shadow morphing into a solid form before the feed cuts off. The heart of the horror. Venturing toward reactor number 4's sarcophagus, a structure containing over 200 tons of radioactive corium, explorers report heightened anxiety and hallucinations. Theories suggest that decay heat and residual radiation create a microenvironment conducive to sustaining these anomalies. The monsters evolve. Adaptation over time. Recent observations indicate that the creatures exhibit hive-like behavior. Communications intercepted at ultra-high frequencies suggest a form of echolocation or data exchange. Genetic analyses show horizontal gene transfer mechanisms previously unseen in multicellular organisms. Encroaching threat. Instances of strange occurrences have been reported up to 30 kilometers from the exclusion zone. Farmers find livestock drained of blood with surgical precision. Water samples from the Pripyat River contain microorganisms with unknown plasmids, raising biosecurity concerns. The unseen war. Containment efforts. The Ukrainian military, in collaboration with international agencies, has intensified patrols. Units are equipped with advanced weaponry, Gauss rifles and plasma-based devices, hinting at engagements requiring beyond conventional arms. Unofficial reports mention operations with casualty rates exceeding 60%. Survivors' guilt. Veterans speak of ordeals not documented in any official capacity. Psychological evaluations reveal PTSD symptoms compounded by radiation-induced neuropathies. Some report visions of entities long after leaving the zone, questioning the boundaries between reality and psychosis. Present-day Chernobyl. Tourism boom. Dark tourism has brought thousands to Chernobyl annually. Despite strict guidelines, thrill-seekers venture off limits. Incidents of unexplained disappearances have increased by 12% over the past 5 years. Authorities attribute this to negligence, but patterns suggest more ominous causes. Recent encounters. Viral videos showcase unsettling content. Figures lurking behind trees, inexplicable shadows crossing paths, and sudden Geiger counter spikes. Analysis of these clips often shows no signs of tampering. Experts debate whether mass hysteria fuels these sightings or if they hint at deeper truths. Theories and explanations. Skeptics versus believers. Skeptics argue that prolonged exposure to low-level radiation can cause hallucinations and cognitive impairments, citing studies on radiation-induced neurotoxicity affecting the hippocampus and prefrontal cortex. Believers reference the consistency of accounts and physical evidence challenging conventional science. Alternative explanations. Some hypothesize that secret projects, perhaps involving synthetic biology or quantum experiments gone awry, are at play. Others consider the possibility of interdimensional phenomena, referencing theories like the many-worlds interpretation and radiation acting as a bridge between realities. The danger ahead, the monster's future. Bioinformatics models predict that these entities could develop beyond the confines of the exclusion zone. The adaptability observed suggests a potential for crossing species barriers, leading to unpredictable ecological impacts. Regulatory bodies face unprecedented challenges in preparing for such scenarios. Humanity's role. The Chernobyl disaster exemplifies the unintended consequences of human ambition and error. It forces us to confront ethical considerations in nuclear energy, genetic manipulation, and environmental stewardship. The monsters of Chernobyl are not just creatures but symbols of the shadows cast by our choices. Conclusion. As we peer into the depths of Chernobyl's legacy, we are reminded of the thin veil separating the known from the unknown. The terrors that may roam the exclusion zone challenge our understanding of biology, physics, and the limits of human knowledge. The line between myth and reality blurs in the irradiated silence of Pripyat. Whether the monsters are real or manifestations of our deepest fears, their stories compel us to reflect on the paths we tread. Perhaps some doors are better left unopened, some secrets left buried. Call to action. If this journey into the heart of Chernobyl intrigued you, share your thoughts and theories in the comments. Have you encountered unexplained phenomena? Subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most enigmatic mysteries. Next time, we'll unravel the secrets of abandoned laboratories hidden within remote mountain ranges.